I knew a guy from down the street and a girl he had to meet. She had his money, he had his clothes. She took a gamble, he rolled a 5. Police said they wanted him alive. Where I think he went, I think only she knows. Just when you think he's gonna leave, you'll find him sleeping in your sheets. I'm talking that grooming lady, smelling that sweet perfume. I'm feeling that should be you when they turn to June. I'm feeling those church bells ringing, hearing that sweet apple pie. Well, oh my golly, oh me, oh my.
Howdy folks, this is Dan Gross for the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight and Three Heads Brewing. Today, I'm sitting down with the Rochester resident for March 2019, Ray Mahar, who's playing a different concert each Thursday this month. You probably know Ray as the frontman for A Girl Named Genny, a rockin' fun folk band and a staple of Three Heads Brewing, and they went on a little tour as well, which we might touch on in a little bit. And of course, he's a friend and favorite here at the brewery. So Ray, thanks so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start off nice and easy. Are you a Rochester native?
Yes, I am.
And what hospital were you born in?
Genesee. I've done my homework.
There we go. Another
Oh my God,
Genesee,
I knew he was going to ask me.
Another Genesee hospital shot.
Yeah, that's right. From Rochester. Grew up in Victor, but whole family's from Rochester, a whole line of people. I went to McQuaid High School. I don't know if you have any beef with McQuaid.
I'm from Pittsford, Sutherland, but I have no beef with McQuaid.
Okay, good.
No beef.
But yeah, I went to McQuaid and have been here for most of my life. I went to school in Ohio for 4 years. So I betrayed Rochester for just a little bit.
I went to Oswego.
Cool.
We'll give you a pass.
Cool.
When you're growing up, tell us about some of the music that was in your house that like inspired you to play music or like influenced you musically.
Yeah. It's weird. I think if you were to like think like I was listening to a lot of Doc Watson or anything like that, I wasn't. My dad, the first thing I think of that was always playing in like my car, my dad always had Phantom of the Opera, like that whole soundtrack in his car, which is a really absurd thing to have, but I fell in love with that whole album. I'm not doing that as part of the residency, but it was really weird things like that. My mom loved Billy Joel and Elton John and things like that, but I didn't get into the music I think that necessarily made me the musician that I am. Most importantly, I love the Avett Brothers. That's a huge group for me. Bob Dylan, John Prine, as we will get into. All those people, like really good songwriters and really good players too. I love all those groups a lot.
So when did you start singing and playing guitar?
Oh, singing. My first singing endeavor, I was always in like choir as a kid. I love singing in all groups. The first play I was ever in was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Wow.
Familiar with that?
I am. Yes, I am familiar with that.
I was the only fifth grader in the sixth grade play. Had the lead role, baby.
That's
and,
it.
I wore this really gross, like, I don't know who this was, but their dad's like old bathrobe as like the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Yeah.
That is horrifying.
As a part of the play. And that was my first singing gig. I mean, I sang all the time in like church.
Thankfully, that wasn't your last singing gig.
Yeah. But yeah, sang in like a lot of different church groups, a lot of stuff like that. Probably started playing guitar. I'm self-taught. I started like teaching myself guitar. I wanted a drum set, and my mom and dad refused to buy me a drum set. They were not about me banging on drums in the garage, in the yard. They were just like not gonna happen. My sister, on the other hand, had a guitar. It was like a $70 like acoustic Fender guitar, and so like very upset, would go up into my room and try and play like Green Day and things like that, and try and play through songs that were only
rare
3 chords.
Green Day reference on the Rochester.
Yeah. Good Riddance was. I heard it was the easiest song to play, so that was the first song I was like, I need to learn this song.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, right. So went upstairs and like followed through that. Probably from like the ages of like 13 to 18 until I could like finally hold like a chord and be like, oh, this makes sense and I can sing and play. So yeah, around like 18, doing like different coffee shops and different like open mics like through school and things like that, started to get a little bit more comfortable playing music. But it wasn't probably until I was 19, I did a little road trip across the country with my sister, who I sing with a lot around town. We decided to like pack up into my old Malibu and drive all across, like playing different open mics. And I told her that I had some songs I had written, and she, I think, was a little nervous about it. I think she was nervous if they weren't going to be any good. And I think hopefully she thought a few of them were good. And that was like kind of my first step into like playing original music and singing live. Yeah.
What was that first original music like? Was it close to the Girl Named Genny sound we know now?
Yeah, I think so. I think the first couple songs were like, the first album or the first EP that we put out is like very close to that. It's very like simple in its chord structure. It's very storyteller vibe. Some stuff is happy, some stuff is sad, some stuff is high energy. Sometimes it's sentimental, more times than that. What we're trying to get to now, especially being like in a group with so many guys that are so talented, like as instrumentalists, is like, how can we get more complicated with our music? I mean, Zach Lejeski, who's in the band, loves Frank Zappa. And Frank Zappa is something I've never spent a lot of time listening to, but when I listen to artists like that, I'm pushed to go, okay, let's step out of like it's only going to be G, C, and D in the chord structure this time. Like, how do we push the song like somewhere else that it needs to go?
Right. Well, here's the easy first step. Just add a dominant seventh on the C chord. It's going to sound a lot cooler. Trust me. There is nothing that sounds better than a dominant 7 bluegrass passing chord.
That's right.
Seventh on top. That shit's gnarly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bleep that. I forgot. I forgot I can't swear
Damn,
on my own show.
you.
I know that was pretty bad. Anyway, so we'll talk more about A Girl Named Genny. You know what? We can talk about it now because we got another special guest. We'll talk about Your Girl Named Genny show.
Yeah.
So, in case you don't know, in Girl Named Genny, it's Ray, of course, Zach Lejeski, who was a Rochester resident last March as well, so this is kind of a nice full circle moment. Stephen Burke as well, who you know him from the Honey Smugglers. He plays guitar in this band. Brad Delano plays banjo, mandolin, other string stuff. Mike Wall on bass, and Dylan Niver on drums, who now also plays with the Honey Smugglers as well. So how did Girl Named Genny come together?
Oh yeah, I forgot I had to answer that. A Girl Named Genny, how it started. Well, Brad Delano is also a longtime friend of mine. He's also my future brother-in-law.
Aww.
Yes, Brad is getting married to my sister Kate. So Brad has always been around the house and played guitar and banjo at different like hangouts that we would have. And Steve Burke, actually, our whole relationship goes back to as well the summer camp we used to work at. He worked at Camp Del Mars on Canisius Lake. I don't know if you're familiar with it. But us three all worked there, and just as I was like starting to write more and I wanted to get into this like some studio, I mean, I had no knowledge of like the Rochester music scene at this point. Besides Steve, I saw he was in this band, the Honey Smugglers. And I shot him a message. This is a Facebook story, you know, all that Facebook.
The Facebook story.
Right? And I shot Steve a message and I was like, hey, you're like really good. I'm not anywhere near that, but I have these like 5 songs. Maybe you could like start workshopping with me. And Steve's like the nicest guy in the world. He was so into it. He
biggest fan of the Spotlight, by the way.
Yeah, and he messaged back and was like, of course I want to like play on these songs, and send them to me right away, and I'll like put something down. So we kind of had like a big like reconnect after like a couple of years of not hanging out. He came over to Brad's house. I came over. He had upright bass, banjo, guitar, and like that was kind of the beginning of it, I would say. Like we just started passing around the songs. Like they weren't super complicated, so like I would just start playing it right there, and Brad and Steve would kind of join in. The second night we had done that, this is kind of like the 4th member, our friend was there, another mutual friend had known Zach and was like, Steve, I love your band, the Honey Smugglers. Zach and I went to high school. And he's like, do you want me to text him? And so I hear him saying this, and that we have like an opportunity to get a fiddle player, and I'm like trying not to like be too excited, but I was like, yeah, text him.
Right, you're you know? Trying to play it cool.
Yeah.
You know?
And Zach came over with his fiddle and his 6-pack of Genny Tall Boys, and Zach ended up sleeping there that night. And it was so good. I don't know if I can say that story. My mom's gonna be like, what are you doing right now with this interview?
Well, we are at 3 Heads, so maybe Genny Tall Boy.
Yeah, right.
We'll give you a pass.
But yeah, Zach's that night. And then from there, like it all just started to make sense. I mean, those like 4 instruments, once you got drums and upright bass, it all kind of just started to like meld together. And when we had a group that was like, okay, we have these like batch of songs, what we need to do, we started just like playing out more, you know.
Cool.
And that was A Girl Named Genny.
Beautiful. Yeah. So before we get to like breaking down the residency weeks, do want to give a quick shout out. You guys went on a very successful tour. Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to my man Alex Freeman, who does amazing video work. Quick Alex story, he pulled me aside like right after a 3-Head show and gave me like a 5-minute rundown of like the drone shot you guys did of the van. And I'm just like, I guess.
Freeman.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I love you, man. Like, I'm so happy.
Everyone thought that shot was fake. They all thought it was like out of a car commercial or something.
It was
like
done
that.
extremely well.
Yeah.
But anyway, really quickly, why don't you tell us about that tour, putting it together, and how it went?
Yeah, it was our first like stint going outside of the state. Excuse me. I think everyone gets like a little intimidated about how to set up your first tour. I just basically did like a post. I did a post and a bunch of emails and texts, and I was like, "We're trying to do this thing. Don't know if we can pull it off, but is there anybody that can get us started?" You know, and immediately like everybody like Rita Proctor and Tyler Westcott and like all these names like floating around that like people who are doing like all the booking for their own bands, just started like shooting me different like contacts and things like that. Started reaching out to people that I knew like in the Midwest, in the areas that we were going to. So yeah, after like a couple months of just harassing different venues and like kind of manipulating your way through, like kind of name dropping bands maybe you hadn't necessarily played with, but like maybe one day would like to, but you know, just saying.
Smoothly done.
Yeah, wiggling your way in there. Figured out just like a quick 9-day tour where we did 7 shows in like 9 days or something like that. So yeah, it was pretty. I mean, it was a lot. It was the first thing we had done like that. I know bands nowadays like are always doing things like that, but every room, no matter the size, whether it was, we played a room that was maybe like half the size of Abilene or something like that, and then we played rooms that were like, I don't know, maybe a little bit bigger than Three Heads, like nothing like crazy, but just to have like that like positive energy in every room. We went to Nashville, we went to Indianapolis, Chicago. We sold out the venue we played in Chicago. It was a Tuesday night, and it was only a 50-person room, but we sold it out. So I had like friends that were coming in, they're like, dude, it was a Tuesday and you've never played here before, and I couldn't even get into your show. And I was like, I know you're mad about that, but that sounds great to me. So let's like keep that up.
No, I was gonna say, but I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Awesome, and it sounds like a good learning experience too.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go and break down each week of his Rochester residency. March 7th, Mahar Family Hour. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the name kind of like steals away from some different like, I've seen bluegrass and folk and country groups kind of do these like offsite projects with like their siblings or their families. Called like the family hours, whatever it might be. So like Sarah Watkins does one. It's the Watkins Family Hour.
Right.
So taking the name from that, I kind of want to pay like tribute to the fact that I started playing music most early on with my sister Kate. So for anyone that doesn't know Kate directly, she like comes on and sings sometimes. She sings on a track on the record called The Hardest Song. So I want to do like a night that was like dedicated to Kate and I playing the majority of the night. So like, she's written songs back when she was in high school that she's never played out for anybody in Rochester.
Nice.
And I have songs that like are just for basically the two of us. We're going to do some of our favorite covers that we do. The fun part of the night is hopefully all of my family's going to come. So my mom and dad are both from families of 5. So even if there's nobody in Rochester that wants to see this show, there's going to be like 100 people here. So
yeah. No, that'll be fun.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun. And then having like different people like sit in, like guys from A Girl Named Genny, people other in town that like, I don't know, want to just sit in and play fun like instrumental stuff while we sing. That'll be cool.
So it's like half kind of intimate show, half bluegrass jam.
Yeah, for sure. And like and it's really cool. My aunt's gonna come up and sing a song. The last couple songs we're gonna do, I'm gonna have like a bunch of people come up on stage and kind of sing, and it'll be like good feel-timey stuff. And yeah, just mainly getting like Kate and I a chance to kind of like show that spot that we haven't gotten to do before.
Perfect.
So it'd be cool.
And 24 consecutive courses of Will the Circle Be Unbroken?
Or Amazing Grace.
Or Amazing Grace. One of those two.
Yeah.
Anyway, the following week, March 14th, A Boy Named Three Heads. That is featuring yourself, Jeff Dale, who we all know Jeff. I don't need to introduce Jeff. The Minister of Mayhem, of course. Stephen Burke and Dylan Niver. I happen to know some inside juicy secrets about this band, but this is your stage. Take it.
I think Jeff and I still don't understand who came up with this idea, because sometimes we're at the brewery and I'm talking about it, he's talking about it, he goes, oh, it was Ray, it was Jeff. I think of how it started is there's a picture that Aaron Winters took of us at Three Heads. I don't know what show we were at. It might have been the Crooked North or something, but we're right up front, having a great time. I had to make it my profile picture.
Right.
And so in the caption I think I wrote a guy named Three Heads, so it might have changed from boy. And to which, everyone like loved it and thought it was hilarious. And someone asked, well, what do you guys play? And Jeff was the one who wrote 80s hair metal or something like that. Because, I mean, I'm the acoustic guitar, folk band. Of course, I'm never going to play anything like that. It's like the most outlandish thing. We started getting the residency thing going, and Jeff called me up, like offering up a month. And he said, but here's the thing. If we do this, what if we do A Boy Named Three Heads? And I said, what if? Because I don't have a fourth idea, Jeff, and that sounds great. So now now it's crunch time. Now it's like, Jeff's locked down like the whole set list, and we have Steve and Dylan playing with us, thankfully. Steve's like the best person to have during these tribute nights. He just will lock it down like no other, and Dylan. But yeah, it'll be fun. 80s hair metal with an Americana vibe, I think is the description that we've gone with. Is that right, Jeff? Yeah, that's right.
That was a woo in the background in case you couldn't hear it.
It'll be really fun. I think it's fun for me to do because it's music. So, I mean, I know all those songs that we're doing. Like we're doing Rock You Like a Hurricane. We're doing Talk Dirty to Me, Run to the Hills, Paradise City.
Oh, my God. Wow.
And I know all those songs, but playing all those songs is like definitely a lot out of my wheelhouse. So it'll be fun getting to play those songs with those guys for sure.
This will be fun having a quirky show along all this.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun and good.
The following week, March 21st, the John Prine Tribute Show.
Yes.
You mentioned early on, like when you were growing up, you didn't have a lot of this music on. What inspired you to do a John Prine show?
Yeah, I think I dove deep in. I mean, I probably could hear John Prine all the way dating back to when I was growing up, but I think I started really getting into him like late high school, early college. I think what I fell in love like most about John Prine was the fact, like, he has all these songs that are so high energy and silly and goofy, and then he has these songs that, like, totally just break your heart, and like you don't understand how the guy can play all the songs in the matter of one night. You know, like he goes from Sandstone to Spanish Pipe Dream to I love his new song. When I Get to Heaven, and which we're gonna have a special guest play that one as well. But I love that dynamic. I think in our band too, we try and have that same thing where we can go from, all right, here's this ballad and it's soft and it's quiet and it's meaningful, and then here's this like bluegrass, fast pace, everyone banging around their heads, having beer, whatever. I love that dynamic in any performer, any band. So John Prine doing that for me was huge, and I thought it would be a really good night. I think the musicians that we have on board to do it are like perfect for it, and they're musicians that are all like near and dear to me. All the special guests that are coming up, I think it'll be good. Yeah, and I like the idea of doing a tribute show too, because you can kind of like pick and choose what your favorite.
Right, exactly. You're not locked into an album and say, oh, it's just John Prine. I can play whatever John Prine I want.
That's right.
We'll leave some of the special guests a surprise, but you can expect to see Scott Calpin from the Honey Smugglers and Rita Proctor as well. A couple shout-outs for Rita. She will be the Rochester resident in December.
Yes.
That's going to be very exciting. We've been looking forward to her residency for it feels like a year and a half.
Rita's the best. I love Rita. I'm like really glad now that Rita, like, I have an excuse to hang out like once a week, maybe bi-weekly with Rita now, doing rehearsals. That's so good.
I have no shame in admitting that I'm jealous that you get to do that.
You too, Scott. It's going to be great.
It's Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, the final week, it's going to be the huge Girl Named Genny show. Now, we've talked a lot about Girl Named Genny, but this one features a very special guest. This is a band called Copper Hill. Now, they might be new to the Three Heads scene and to maybe some people who came here, but this is a really cool band featuring a bunch of Eastman cats. So it's Katie Knudsvig singing and playing some fiddle as well. Willa Fink singing and playing fiddle as well. She's actually a violinist with the RPO. Yep. Caroline Samuels on bass and Ethan Cypress on banjo and keys. So what inspired you to bring these cats on and have a show with them?
Yeah, we've never had an opening act at Three Heads before. Because we have enough material that we can fill the night, but it felt cool to do something different for the residency, not just have it be just A Girl Named Genny, right? So they're gonna, side note, like our members of our band are like really close with them. Dylan Niver being like a huge fan of theirs and a huge friend of theirs. He's been like for a while now, been like, okay, you gotta shoot a message to them, have us play a gig with them, whatever. Obviously they're really busy because Willa's in the RPO, right? Yeah, they're Eastman students, but finally it worked out, and I'm super, super excited. They're gonna play an opening set. I don't think they know it yet, and maybe when they see this video they will know it, but hopefully have them sit in with some of the tunes that we'll play too.
I'm sure they would be happy to.
Yeah, and yeah, they're just like incredibly talented, and it'll be really fun. A lot of the records that the two records that we have done, but a lot of the songs that we have feature like these different parts where Zach and Mike have like played over themselves, so it'd be cool to kind of like bring that live if they're down. These like big orchestral bits that like we can't really do live all the time. I mean, we have Mike Boeing on bass and Zach playing, but when we have like that huge sound in this room, I think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, and they're a completely biased opinion here, but they're a great opening act. It's this really cool chamber folk art sounds. I think you'll really appreciate. The contrast will be nice with A Girl Named Genny.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're not like too upset by our rowdy music, you know.
I don't think so at all. I think they're gonna be headbanging with the rest of us.
That's right.
We got through all the weeks, but let's just recap to make sure we got all of them. March 7th, Mahar Family Hour. March 14th, A Boy Named Three Heads featuring Americana, Jesus, 80s hair
Dan
metal.
can't even get through it.
I really can't. I'm going to be giggling the whole show. Thank God I'm not going to be on camera for that. March 21st, the John Prine Tribute Show, and then March 28th, Copper Hill opening up for A Girl Named Genny. Dan Gross, this is the resident for March 2019, Ray Mahar. Thanks so much for your time. We hope to see you every Thursday at Three Heads Brewing.
Bye.
Bye.
Ready? Yeah.
Our dream house was a porch with a view. Waiters waiting on ya in 7 bathrooms. And in our front lawn there'll be garden gnomes, sunlight and the flowers to decorate our home. So darling, understand that when you hold my hand, my love for you is stronger than the sea. And baby, please believe the faith you have in me should not exist in any other man. My hopes and fears, well, wishes ringing true. Babe, when I'm with you. In our basement, lock away our ghosts. See, no one has to know all the dreams I pushed away. So I ran out to the yard to build a jungle gym. Fear of screwing up reminds me of him. So darling, understand that when you hold my hand, my love for you is stronger than the sea. And baby, please believe the faith you have in me should not exist in any other man. My hopes and fears, well, wishes ringing true. Babe, when I'm with you. In our living room, I don't wanna stay sleeping on your couch, a familiar face. And in our back room, our son cries for his mom, and I smile as I look on, but I cry when I'm gone. So darling, understand, when you hold my hand, my love for you is stronger than the sea. And baby, please believe the faith you have in me should not exist in any other man. My hopes and fears, well, wishes ringing true. Babe, when I'm with you.